Today I'll be talking about business incomes or incomes and taxes. So I'll be talking about what a W-2 is. So W-2 is not included as business income. So this is the type of income that you get from working for somebody else as an employee. So let's say I'm working in corporation B and I'm a software engineer or something, or a desk jockey, and I'm working at the corporation A, and they give me a W-2. So that income is not um, considered to be business income. So it's taxed at a different rate compared to 1099 income, which is the type of income that you earn as an independent contractor, or if you sell on platforms like eBay, Amazon, or whatever. That would be considered 1099 income. Or let's say you're working for a rideshare like Uber or one of these gig platforms, that would also be 1099. So these two incomes are taxed at a different rate, and a W-2 employee cannot get write-offs for stuff, tax write-offs for like expenses, like let's say mileage for their car, gas mileage, uh, gasoline, car maintenance, and stuff like that. But a 1099 uh, contractor can. So the contractors could be anything. It could be someone who does roofing, or a car mechanic or something, a technician or something like that. They're basically contractors. And if you do work for somebody, or if you're an engineer or something, or an architect, and you do work for somebody, uh, and if it's over $600 for what the work that was done, then you would be, at the end of the year, they would give you a 1099. They would send it to you, and they would send it to the IRS. So this type of income is reported, basically, if it's over a certain amount. But there's you can write stuff off, and for this type of income, you have to keep like the receipts and stuff at the end of the year when you do your taxes. So you get a tax write-off, so you have to, so you can find out what the profit is, basically. So the business source of income could be like equities. You could do e-commerce. You could sell on platforms like eBay, Amazon, Mercari, or your own website if you have one. And services, let's say if you're a plumber or something like that, a roofer, you fix engines or refurbish engines, or if you're an electrician or something, be like services, or you put something together and then you sell it. That'd be goods and services. And when you do service or sell goods, a person would give you a check, and then you would deposit that into your bank account. And after you do that, the government would know about it. So you would report that as a gross income, right? But then, in order to find the profit, you have to deduct all the expenses to get the profit, and the profit is what is taxed, basically. So, as for the expenses, so materials that are used to make the products that you're selling. Or if you are a merchant, then you would buy items at a wholesale price, and you would sell it to the consumer at the retail price. So you would mark it up, or maybe at 10 to 30% profit, and sell it to the consumer. Or if you are an electrician or something, you would have to buy the materials to get the lights to work and stuff like that, right? Or fix various electrical stuff around someone's house or whatever. Or if you're a plumber, you would need to buy pipes and stuff like that. And those would be like kind of like the materials that would be used. Or if you're a computer technician, then a part needs to be replaced, you would buy that part, and that would be the material that you use to make the repair on whatever. And there's also equipment and supplies. And basically this thing is basically, let's say you have a mechanic shop or something, right? Then you would have to buy the diagnostic equipment, right? Or if you're a computer programmer, you would have to buy compilers and computers to do your work, right? So that would be equipment costs and supplies and stuff. If you're, let's say you're doing eBay and stuff like that, you have to use your printer to print out shipping labels and stuff like that, right? So that would be an expense. So the supplies and stuff, that would be an expense, and you could deduct that from your in order to find a profit. So cost of items, like I said, how much something costs and how much you sell for, that would determine the profit. Other expenses, like you could deduct your cell phone service, your internet service, your utilities if you work at home or something, or if you have a brick and mortar store, that would be you could write off the utilities bills, water and power and stuff like that. If you own a restaurant, then you have to use natural gas to cook the food. You need to have the lights on, and you have to use water and stuff like that. So utilities are covered. So the taxable income is based on profit. So you need to save all your receipts to find what the profit is at the end of the year. So the gross is the amount of money that you are charged for a product or service. So let's say I'm a plumber, and someone pays me let's say $500 to fix their clogged pipes or whatever, then I would get that, and that would be the gross amount. But obviously there's expenses that went into doing that service, like buying pipes, driving to the work site. So I use fuel to do that. That could all be deducted. Or if I have to use somebody to help me, then that would be an expense as well. And the gross is basically, it could be how much you sold an asset at. So let's say I bought a house for, let's say $350,000, and I sold it for $450,000, and I would have to report, then the $100,000 is what will be taxed. So if I bought a stock, and I bought the stock at, let's say, $10, and I sold the stock at $30, then the $20 will be the taxable income, because that would be the profit. The profit is what is taxed. So here's an example. Let's say in 1 year, at the end of the year, I sold $5,000 worth of stuff on eBay. This could be anything. Let's say I sold my old smartphone or cell phone at like $300, so I bought a new cell phone for $1,000. Okay, so that would still go into income, even if I used it. It doesn't matter, but I could easily get the new smartphone, and that would be put in as new equipment, so I could deduct that from my expenses. And services, let's say I made $15,000 a year. Say for stock trades I made $25,000 a year, for example. Other things I did, I made $6,000 a year. Contract work, let's say, I made $50,000 a year. I made websites, or I did some work like that, or I wrote some algorithms, or made a computer program, or whatever. I sold computers that I put together, and contract work. I made $50,000 a year for that, let's say. So my total income would be $101,000, but that's not the profit, basically, because there were obviously expenses in getting this work done, right? So I would have to deduct the total expenses. So let's say supplies, I spent $5,000. New equipment that I bought, $3,500, including that new smartphone I bought. And the stocks that I bought that year and sold was $6,000. The utilities, stuff like my cell phone bill, my internet, utilities, $2,800 a year. So this is all per year. So total expenses per year was, let's say, $17,300 a year. And let's say I made some donations to the Salvation Army, $3,000. Some old equipment that I had that I just donated, old clothes and stuff like that. So I could write that off on my taxes as well. So profit is equal to the gross. Let's see. In this case, my total income was $101,000. $101,000 per year. Total expenses is $17,300 per year, and the donations I made was $3,000. So my taxable income would be the profit. So $80,700, and profit equals taxable income, basically. So what I do to keep track of everything is I just use a spreadsheet to do that, like something like this, for example. So I use a Google spreadsheet to manage all of this stuff. This is just an example. This isn't really anything that's real, but for example, let's say on the 1st of January of 2021, I made a sale of $100, and this cost me $30. So the profit would be $70. So you would put this into a spreadsheet, and you would put equal, let's say, the sale, or gross. That would be B2 minus C2. So that will give me $70. And all I have to do, I don't have to do this every time. I just move this down, and it automatically calculates everything. So let's say I bought a new laptop on June 15th, 2021 for $1,200. and that would go into supplies and equipment, which I put there. So you could type in what you want to label on the top. So you could type in miscellaneous expenses, for example. Like I did here. So, and then let's see, on December 30th, 2021, my internet and cell phone bill came out to be $1,380 per year, and that would be expenses again. So the way I would calculate the profit would be, I'll just do it again. So equals sum of the gross, which is B2 to B11 minus the sum of C2 to C11, as you can see right there. So minus supplies and equipment, which would be sum of E2 to E11, which is highlighted in the blue. I'll press enter and I will get the total profit, and this would be taxed basically, which is how it works. So you just save all your receipts, make sure you have them, and then you would just put it into a spreadsheet like this. You could put it into Microsoft Excel, which is a spreadsheet for Microsoft Office, or you could use something like Google Spreadsheets, which is free, and all you really need is a Gmail account to do that. So to get it, it's let's just type in Google Spreadsheets, and as long as you're logged onto your Gmail account like I am, you should be able to just get into it like this. Just go to Sheets and you'll get to your spreadsheets. And this is the easiest way that I manage all my stuff. And I don't have to really do a lot of work when I have to do my taxes, because I have everything organized in the spreadsheet, and I have all the receipts scanned into the computer into folders, and all I do is when tax season comes, I just put all that information into a CD-ROM drive. I just burn all that information into a CD-ROM drive, the receipts and stuff, and just submit it to the IRS. And I just have this stuff to just be so I can report my taxes accurately to the IRS, so I don't have any problems. So if the 1099s that the different platforms that you're using don't match up with what's in your bank account, because the government doesn't know everything about it, if it goes into the banking system, it's reported. So just keep that into consideration and just report your taxes honestly, and you won't have any problems with the IRS or with the government. So I just think it's easy. It's just easy if you just have everything organized and have everything computerized. It makes life a lot simpler. You don't have to spend hours trying to do your taxes, Everything's there. You just get a number like this, and then you just report it. That's it. So anyways, thanks for watching. My name is 1000KS.